Up here. Good morning again to everybody. I'm saying hello now, not just to you out here in Chit Chat in our chapel in Wernersville, Pennsylvania. Also to the entire live stream crowd out there. I can't even guess how many thousands I don't know how many people are there, but it's good to see them. And our YouTube channel, come on. Where's our TikTok channel? I don't know where all this stuff is, but we have a YouTube channel. We have like 1,500 subscribers. I know they're all watching at this very second to hear what is Jim going to say today about rescue. Rescue. What an interesting word. You know, I asked my wife, what do you think about the word rescue? Oh, I hate it. You hate it? Why do you hate the word rescue? It sounds like a relief to me. No. She's like, trauma victims. So my wife is an immigrant from Poland, and she came to the United States when she was 12, spoke no English at all, and ended up in Brooklyn, New York, in school, and basically struggling to survive. So for her, rescue means powerless, and powerless to her as a trauma victim means she cannot take any matters in her own hands. And I said, now that you've explained it that way, I totally get it. Because we struggle a lot of times with the word rescue because we wonder, how can we be powerless? How can we possibly be powerless? If step one is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, I want to tell you something. If there's anyone in the world that is not going to let alcohol or drugs get them, it's you. You guys are superheroes. You do know this. It's not the rest of the world has this power over alcohol and drugs. I'm just not going to do it. Look at those guys. They can't handle it. No, it's just they're not using it in the capacity and the quantities that we are. Guys, we're the superheroes. I mean, we tried to ingest so much to world records. I mean, we're like Iron Man over here, Wonder Woman over here. You know, it's like rum, tequila. We're just fighting it off. Bring it, you know? Like, we can handle it. We're like, watch this. That was my favorite line right before I do anything. Oh, yeah? Hobbs, you can't do that. Watch this. And then I would. And then insanity would ensue. That was the point. The point wasn't to keep things nice and normal and under control. The point was to let's dial this party up to a point that something no one in the world has ever seen in their life. And the amazing thing is, in this step, admitting that we're powerless over alcohol, we're not admitting that we can't outdrink everyone, or that we can't outuse, or that we can't take more hallucinogens than anyone else has ever seen and still make it work. What we're saying is that there's something that we are longing for. We have a longing, a deep, deep longing within us. And I believe that longing is love. That we're looking for an intimate connection to love. And we haven't found it. And by design, this infinite drive to find divine love leads us and others into all sorts of different paths. So I was wondering as I was walking around campus this week, I'm like, why did you come to treatment? What made you? Was it a rescue mission? What exactly was it that got you here to Caron? And I have a top 10, this is in no order, top 10 list. Reasons I came to treatment. Number one, they made me. Who's they? They made me. Ask my legal team. That's a good one. I think some of us get that. I wanted to come. That's nice to hear. I had nowhere else to go. I needed help. I'm broke. Why the blank not? Okay, why not? Might as well be here. My favorite three answers: it's spring. Okay. That's good. It's spring. I might as well go to Caron. The food, this is a great one. The food is solid. I think the food is solid. I would agree with that. I ate more here than I'd eaten in 35 years. I didn't want to eat. And the last one, God told me to come. It's like, whoa, God told me to come. You know, that's what happened to me. I was getting ready in 2017 to take a job for Royal Caribbean Cruise. I thought it was my dream job. I sang in a Bon Jovi cover band. Why do you laugh at that? I thought it was cool. In Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Doylestown. And we'd play these clubs. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't remember most of the nights how they'd end. Usually somebody would get mad and there'd be a fight. But I decided that I'd had it. No more of this world. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of my wife. She's got all this anxiety. I don't know where she got it, living with an alcoholic for 2.5 decades. I'm done. So I'm checking out. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to board this, and I'm going to be the lead singer on a brand new cruise ship. Right before COVID. Think of the timing that would have been. And as I had gotten done with a 3-day pub crawl in London by myself, that was the way to do pub crawls. Didn't want anybody to bother me. God asked me a question. He said, I just need to hear you say, Jim, that you're going to leave a mom and a son. My son was 13. Again. I was like, again? Ugh. And I really wasn't putting it together. When I was a sportscaster out in Oregon, back in the mid-90s, I did exactly that. Me and my girlfriend, she had a baby, and I said, I gotta go. And I went to New York. Now, the only reason I tell this story is it doesn't make me look good. In fact, it makes me look terrible, I think. But it makes God look good. And all I had to do was listen. So when God asked me that, I just started crying. I was like, oh my God. No, I can't do that. I can't do it. Well, it was my son. He's going to be sitting there at 13 playing. Be like, where's my dad? Why did he leave me? I said, no. And God said, the voice I know is God, it's okay. We're going to rehab. And I said, shh, crap. I said something else probably. I was like, no, I don't want that. That's the last thing in the world I wanted. And then 3 weeks later, I'm here at Caron. Then I see everyone here, and at that moment, I realize I'm being given my ministry. It's about receiving. So rescue, what do you need to do to be a part of a rescue? The first thing I'd say is to listen. In a rescue attempt, there's a rescuer and a rescuee. Now, you can't be both. You, as the rescuee, cannot, by definition, rescue yourself. It's impossible. How would that even occur? That's what we're trying to do, I believe, in the heart of addiction, is to try and rescue ourselves from all that life has given us and all that life has tortured us with. And so in that rescue attempt, we have to understand we are the rescuee, not the rescuer. The spiritual care director at our Florida campus, Lori Durgan, some of you may know her, she has a story where in her addiction, after 25 years of drinking, She actually died. And the paramedics came. And she remembers this. She heard the ER person, as she was lying there, according to them, flatlined, she was gone. He said, she's not going to make it unless she makes changes now. She heard it. And at that moment, she said, she felt the rescuer was God. He told her it was time to make a change. All she had to do was listen. And I truly believe that there is a voice within you that is talking to you today that's telling you, listen. Just listen for a moment. That voice, the inner sacredness of the rescuer, is going to be your guide as you go through all of this at Caron. Now, I know there's always been talk about substance use disorder. It's a chronic disease. Oh no, we're stuck with it. Now it's like a death sentence, all this kind of talk. I always had trouble with that. I felt like I didn't have to drink, but life would kind of suck if I didn't. Like, it's not going to be any fun. Like, that's boring. I want to drink. So I cannot tell you how excited I was when I heard our chief medical officer, Joseph Garbley, say that yes, addiction is a chronic disease, but it's preventable and it's treatable. It's like, wait a minute. It's a disease. Once we've dialed it up to this stage, and of course genetics and things play a part of it, but it's preventable, and it's actually not something that has to be there for the rest of your life. It's not like, oh man, I'm stuck. Going to meetings, having to do la la la. Like, in my recovery, I can just tell you, it's not like that. This is the life that I was trying to get drinking. I just didn't understand. I thought there's no way I could feel this kind of connection. I was longing to be loved in a way that I felt I never would be. I didn't feel accepted. I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel like I was actually the person that God called me to be. So I drank, which is the opposite in a way of what we need for this peace and contentment and comfort in life. I was like, wait a minute. How can this possibly be that I've been searching for the thing and running from the thing that I needed my whole life? 20 million people are living in the United States in recovery today. That's 10% of the adult population. That's a bunch of people. I'm like, who doesn't drink? My gosh, what's up with that? What's wrong with those people? But I didn't understand that there's a whole new way of life that does exist. And this way of life actually has nothing to do with addiction. Understanding that addiction is the solution to a problem. You're just trying to get yourself out of, and I would argue this is rescue attempt number 2, out of your mind. It is your mind that we are looking to rescue you from here at Caron. It's not your body. I mean, let's face it, right now, 9:23 a.m., Sunday, your body. Where are you? You're here. You don't need a rescue. You're sitting right here at Caron. That's a beautiful thing. But your mind, where's your mind right now? Is it going back to the past? Thinking about all those things that people have done to you that just wasn't fair, wasn't right? Is it thinking about the things you did that got you here? Is it thinking about the traumas that you've gone through, especially in childhood? I mean, research tells us that these traumatic events have such an impact on our life. And we continue on in this journey as if that story is continuing. But this is the good news in a rescue attempt, is that it's a story. You've lived a story of your life. And you know the story. But in that story, your mind has created judgments about this story. So you, in fact, have decided that this was bad and this was good. And when I did this, this was great. And when I did this, this was awful. But that's your mind. Your mind making judgments about yourself. In the spiritual realm, God is the one who decides this sort of meaning-making of your life. And I would argue that God has put you here on this day, at this time, at this moment, for a specific reason. And I mean all of us, not just those of us in treatment, but family, friends, spouses. This moment is where God comes near. And trust me, when it comes to trauma, when I've talked to many of you, the religious trauma that you've gone through in life, a lot of you, it's terrible. Religion has been used for all sorts of traumatic purposes, especially as it's been revealed over the last 2 decades. So I totally get it. And that's why at Caron, we have a complete spiritual service. We aren't just talking about one higher power. On step 3, when we're talking about made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him, that to me means whatever is inside you that's telling you this is the moment, that's the thing that you listen to, and that becomes what is your higher power. So in the rescue attempt, you're the rescuee, not the rescuer. Your mind is telling you stories that actually you're back 20 years ago, or you got to worry about this and all that. Actually, at this moment, you're safe. Gracie talked about safety. You are safe. Totally and completely safe at this very second. And in that safety comes the last piece I would say about rescue, is that actually you've already been rescued. So in your mind, this dimensionality of understanding of I need a rescue, there is a victim, and your mind says it's you. But I would argue that the rescue that you're looking for, not only will it happen, it's already happened. You are rescued. Because you are created from the sacredness of all of creation. You're getting the opportunity now to co-create with a divine love that made you, your loved ones, and all of, not just humanity, but all of creation. Love is the sacred essence of what each of us is made of. It's the particles of your cells. Why is it that you violently oppose things at the end of the day that go against your core? It's because you are love, and by being love, you are rescued. In the Christian world, we would say it's the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In that sense, you've already been rescued. But in the Christian sense, if you go all the way back in the Hebrew sense to Genesis, the story of Adam and Eve and that narrative that goes on, there are things you do and there are things God does. And God can do anything you do, but there are things that your higher power can do that you can't. And that's your understanding. That's where you feel that there is a connection, a love, a longing for this intimacy that then allows you to connect in relationship to the God that can do what you can't do for yourself. In the garden narrative, God says, Be fruitful and multiply. Take care of this place. Sounds good. Co-create with God. But at the same time, you're not God. You can't create the garden. And in the midst of our drinking and our drugging and everything that we do to try and make this garden come back, we can't because we didn't create it in the first place. And I'm here to tell you, that's the idea. That's the idea. So I would argue, in a rescue, you've done nothing wrong. In fact, you've done everything right to get here. Why would God, in this manner of working with you, want to come closer? The closest I ever felt, I think, to God was the moment when he asked me that question in London. That was probably one of my lowest moments in my life. And I clearly began to understand that my performance is just a story that I judge in my head. Nothing else. And the same for you. All of you within this room, I believe, are divine love, inside and out. And there's a beauty that all of you have within you that you get a chance to discover over these next few weeks. You would never get this opportunity the rest of your life. No wonder people come back to get the good food in the spring. It all starts to make sense. I will keep coming back to Caron. My wife was like, I thought you went there for rehab. I didn't know you were going to go there for life. She lost me to drinking. Now she's losing me, she feels like at times, to Caron. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. In drinking, I'm not who I am. But here, with you, and only with you, I can be who I am. We're unified together because we don't have to explain what it's like to be under the spell of addiction. But it's not a death sentence. It's treatable. It's something that you learn to deal with, and actually it unlocks the sacred box of divine love that lets you be who you truly are. So for me, having you here and being here with you is truly the time of my life. And I don't ever want to be anywhere else. Amen.